I got a question for you. What's the ratio of the amount that you speak versus the amount that you listen? Let's talk about it today. James 1:19 says, "Know this, my beloved brothers and sisters. Let every person be quick to hear, slow to speak, and slow to anger." This is something that we really have to grapple with, especially in this season. And it was just something that I was giving fresh thought to as in our devotions this week, we are plowing through a number of chapters in the Proverbs. Consider some of these words that Solomon is writing as he's writing these Proverbs. In chapter 1, verse 5, it says, "Let the wise hear and increase in learning." Excuse me. "And the one who understands obtain guidance." Chapter 2, verses 1 through 5 in Proverbs, "My son, if you receive my words and treasure up my commandments with you, make your ear attentive to wisdom and incline your heart to understanding. Yes, if you call for the insight and raise your voice for understanding, if you seek it like silver, search for it as hidden treasures. Then you will understand the fear of the Lord and find the knowledge of God." Proverbs, let me get a couple more in here. Proverbs 3:1, "My son, do not forget my teachings, but let your heart keep my commandments." Chapter 4, verse 1, "Hear, O sons, a father's instruction, and be attentive that you may gain insight." So time and time and time again, and you'll continue to see this as you read through the Proverbs, it's this intentional dropping of these lines of saying, hey, listen up, listen up. Now, why is that so important for us today? Why is that so important for us within the culture and the day that we live in, to listen up? Well, we've got a lot of experts out there right now that are not actually experts. This is where like a lot of this false news and false ideas keep coming up across our social networking feeds, across our social spheres, across these different conversations that we are having. Listen, you acting like an expert is getting in the way of you growing. And so if you're not an expert in the field that you are talking in, it's getting in the way of you growing in that field. And we see this in so many different areas where people just take it upon themselves to become the expert. And it's literally dropping a wall in their way, and they're not able to grow anymore because they're saying, listen, I've got this all down. I've got this all figured out. And what we need to do as people of Jesus is to recognize we don't have it all figured out. In the fields that we are experts, okay, let's speak as an expert in those fields, educating others and helping them to take steps in those fields. But recognize where we're not those experts. Recognize we're speaking from a place where we don't actually have all that knowledge, and what we have is opinions. Let's be those who listen a whole lot more so that we can learn and grow a whole lot more. Listen up, friends. Listen, listen, listen. All right, we'll talk to you later.